Hey everyone, good morning. Happy Monday. Happy beginning of the new week. I hope you guys had a wonderful weekend here where we are. It was fabulous. It was incredible. It was warm. It was springtime, and I just can't say enough good things about it. It was just really, really good. So, unfortunately, Dana's not going to be able to join us this morning for our coffee time, and she'll be returning tomorrow, I believe. So, you're stuck with me this morning. You're stuck with me. But I still wanted to bring you guys this information about probiotics because it is important. And again, it's one of those things that we can probably talk about for the next few days anyways to get that information out to you and just reinforce how important it is to have this incredible magical little additive to your eating schedule. So today I'm just going to basically talk about the different gut bacteria, and then excuse me, we'll talk about perhaps products and then food and everything else on another day. Just because there is a lot of information, so I don't want to, overwhelm you guys too much. But let's see here. So gut bacteria, okay, so just going back to what a probiotic is. A probiotic basically is a capsule, and now you can have capsules that are shelf stable as well as the ones that are in the fridge. Don't be fooled by the fact that you always have to buy the ones that are in the fridge. The ones that are on the shelf, basically, have a substance in them that make them shelf stable. So they're perfectly fine for taking. They're still alive. They're still you're still getting all the benefits that you need to from the probiotics, and so don't be fooled about the fact that you have to take just a fridge sample, because like I said, there's no difference and you're still getting all the benefits from a shelf stable as well as a fridge stable. And oftentimes the shelf stable ones are going to be a little bit less money. The thing is, probiotics basically are billions and billions and billions of good bacteria that we need on our gut. And the thing is that in our gut, we have good and bad bacteria. And when we have dysbiosis or an imbalance, gut issues, something just is not right, and you have issues as a result of that, it really is just because the good and bad bacteria have been able to be out of balance for too long. We always are going to have good and bad bacteria. We have good and bad bacteria in our gut, on our skin, everywhere in our body. But we don't want to have that imbalance. We don't want to let the bad bacteria just take over and flourish, because this is where we end up getting issues like inflammation in the body, irritable bowel, mood issues, because we're not able to produce the happy hormones in our body. And, it can go the other way too, whereas, connection with our brain. So there's that brain-gut connection that goes both ways. But, just getting back to the bad bacteria in our gut, if we allow it to flourish through processed foods, lots of sugar, chemicals, additives, increased toxins, increased heavy meat that doesn't digest very well, and all these different things. And it just basically sits in our gut and it rots the food itself, the bad additives and coloring and all these different toxins and everything else. And what we end up having is a flourish of the bad bacteria, which eventually makes holes in our intestinal wall. So our intestinal wall is nice and tight like this. And when we have a flourish of the bad bacteria just going crazy, it opens those junctions, it opens the permeability of the gut a little bit more. So we end up having those toxins that are residing in our gut to be distributed throughout their body. So even small pieces of food product and whatnot really just gets into our bloodstream and causes a lot of the issues that we have as a result. So we can have leaky brain, we can have leaky joints, we can have leaky everything in our body, leaky heart, leaky lungs, leaky kidneys. It's a leaky gut that leads to everything else in our body that is not going to be very good as a result. So we really want to keep that gut microbiome really balanced with the healthy flora. And we do that by incorporating some really good food products, but as well as, when we're really looking at what we call a healing journey, you are going to be incorporating a product that is going to be a supplement at that point, because nobody's perfect. Nobody has eaten perfect their whole lives unless they've been stuck out in the bush someplace and have been one of these survivalists. They're rare people anyways, and the gut microbiome has to be really kind of balanced to help balance out the rest of the body. So how do you do that? Well, first of all, taking a probiotic is essential. And when we're doing probiotics, you always want to switch them out as well too. So if you're not a type of person to take pills, we're going to talk about food products another day, but probiotics should definitely be taken as in the pill form at least 3 or 4 times a year, just because it's that season. I don't want to call it flu season, but it's that immune deficient season where we have the increased susceptibility to catching whatever bugs are going around at that time. So not bugs, pests, bacteria, things that make us sick. So basically what you want to do is during those times of the year, incorporate at least 1 or 2 bottles of probiotics and make sure they're 2 different kinds, because you're going to want to have 2 different kinds of, or thousands upon thousands and millions and billions of different kinds of gut bacteria being introduced into the gut. You want to increase that numbers and decrease the amount. So just as an example, I'll let you guys know some of the different kinds of gut probiotic strains that you can take in. So there's one called Lactobacillus Acidophilus. Now I'm going to probably butcher all these names, so just hang with me for a few minutes. That's one of the more common ones. And that one you really want to take for gut health and for female health. So you have 2 kind of indications there for that one. So the mode of action for that one would be constipation, diarrhea in children. So yes, children can take probiotics. Our elders can please take probiotics. Our pets can take probiotics. These are everybody can take probiotics. And there's different formulas for different types of people and different situations, and very issue-focused kind of probiotics as well too. Just grabbing something off the shelf for everyday kind of immune supporting system, then yeah, that's fine. But if you have a situation where you've just come off of antibiotics, then you want to get a very specific type of probiotic. If you have irritable bowel, then you want to get a very specific type of probiotic, and you want to be on a very specific regime and protocol to be able to help counter that. And a lot of these different issues as well too. So back to the Lactobacillus Acidophilus. Again, this is for gut health and female health, and it's really, really helpful for constipation, general constipation, diarrhea in children, female health. So anybody that's having a UTI and preventative measures for a UTI is very, very important to have this strain of probiotic on a regular basis. Because when we talk about prophylactics or prevention products like this, you really want to take it for the long term. And again, Lactobacillus acidophilus actually maintains intestinal barrier. So once you've, depending upon whether you're on a healing journey or you're on the health journey is the maintenance basically after you've done the healing protocols. the lactobacillus will actually help to maintain the intestinal integrity and, not have the permeability be wide open. And then actually helps to restore the intestinal flora as well too. So that's one of the good ones for bringing about some intestinal flora. For those of you that are thinking, oh, lacto, well, I'm lacto intolerant, so I can't have that. That has nothing to do with it. It is a totally different monster, and you don't have to worry about the fact it doesn't contain. It's not the lactose that is the protein that causes issues in your gut. This is Lactobacillus acidophilus. There's a couple of different lacto kind of probiotic strains, and it is not going to give you any kind of indication for gut issues as a result of lactose intolerance. Lactobacillus ramos is good for gut health, immune health, and female health. So this is a different one, but it's still in the Lactobacillus family. And this one really is good for gastrointestinal discomfort. So just general discomfort, lactose intolerance again. So going back to that whole lactose intolerance scenario, this is one that you would take for lactose intolerance. Immune modulating, inhibits pathogens and infections, and female health as well too. So UTIs, bacterial vaginosis, and candidias. So these are things that it's really, really helpful for. So when you're going to look for something, if you are on a healing journey and you have specific symptoms that I'm mentioning here, this is the probiotic strain you want to make sure is in your probiotic. And again, if you need very specific stuff, just grabbing something off the shelf where you buy your socks or, is not going to be helpful for you. It's going to be better than nothing, but it's going to be something that you really want to be very specific about. You're going to say, well, I've been taking probiotics for 6 months and nothing is happening. Well, which probiotics are you taking, and which strains are you taking? And are you shifting them up? Are you getting, do you have a specific symptom that you're trying to reverse as a result? Are you taking the right strain? And this is kind of the whole idea behind probiotics. It's just not a big jumble that you take, unless you obviously are not having any kind of issues, and then you want to just take it as a prevention and prophylactic kind of situation. So the third one I'm going to talk about is called Lactococcus latus, excuse me. And this one is for immune health. So again, if you're trying to look for go towards probiotics for your immune support, then definitely this is the one you ought to make sure that is in that pile that you're looking at, that's on the label of your probiotic bottle. It increases the HDL cholesterol as well too. So HDL cholesterol is your good cholesterol, and you want to raise that up because the bad cholesterol sometimes is up here and your good cholesterol is down here. So you're going to raise up your good cholesterol and have that balance as well too. And that probiotic strain actually has a antimicrobial component as well too, that is against pathogens, so bacteria and viruses as well too. So that's that immune support component of it as well too. Okay, so don't laugh. Bifidobacterium, bifidum. Okay. I don't know why they have to make everything in Latin. Anyways, this one is basically, again, for general gut health, including children, and immune support as well too. So again, you're going to have, when you look at any bottle of probiotics, you're going to see a ton of different strains. And the 7 that I'm going to be giving you right now, you know, other than Lactobacillus acidophilus, that's one of the major ones. And yeah, so that's one of the major ones that you're going to see on pretty much all of them. But you're going to see a whole list of different ones throughout the throughout that list of probiotic strains on the back of the bottle. So again, just being aware that different ones are for different things. This is kind of the general consensus of what I'm trying to throw at you today. So the bifidobacterium one, again, for general health, general gut health, immunomodulating, so really for that immune support as well too, inhibits pathogens and infections and reduces inflammation. So for all my inflammatory people out there, which is pretty much all of you, it is one of those ones that's going to be really beneficial for that as well too. So then we have Bifidobacterium breve, which is again a general one for gut health, but including children. So a lot of our kids, our babies, they have they go through bouts of constipation, gut issues, all these different things, and understanding that kids can very much go on probiotic. There's actually not in the biomed situation, but in the Genestra strain, Seroil strain of health professional grade probiotics supplements, they have a product that's actually made just for kids. It's a probiotic just for kids to for when they start school, because it is, again, immune modulating. And what happens when kids go back to school, when they are supposed to or allowed to go back to school? What happens? The running nose happens, the sniffles, this back and forth and everything else. Even if they're wearing masks and washing their hands, it still happens. And then what do? They bring it home. And in this crazy time that we're going through right now, with all the hypervigilant, watching of our symptoms, then, you really want to be able to keep that at bay as much as possible and boost their immune as well at that point too. So again, the Bifido breve is one of those ones that, again, is immune modulating, inhibits pathogens and infections. And this is one of the ones that you could potentially have in a cream form, a probiotic on a cream form, for people that have atopic dermatitis. So basically skin rashes and that essential kind of stuff. And when a child has diarrhea, you want to be able to provide this one as well too, or make sure that probiotic that you're giving them is in that that probiotic strain is in that formula. Bifido longium. So this one is good for gut health, immune health, and gut inflammation. So a gut inflammation is that when we have just an unease in our gut, we're not digesting properly. We've had a big meal. We've gone out and we've partied on the weekend. We've had steak and beer and and we're maybe a little bit older, not digesting a little well. And we end up having that heavy meat product in our gut, and it's fermenting and it's sitting there and it's rotting. It's causing a lot of inflammation in our gut. So this kind of situation, after the fact, preferably before the fact, there's a lot of different factors with regards to why food would sit and ferment and not relieve themselves, get digested and then, processed and metabolized and released from our bodies. And a lot of times it has to do with a low stomach acid. So there's that issue, which I'm not going to talk about today so much, but something definitely, if you think that there might be an issue, please come in and visit, and we can definitely determine through a nutritional consult what the issue would be. But when we have gut inflammation, this is, the process of starting towards where those junctions are starting to open a little bit more, because, the inflammation and toxins and whatnot, your gut is like, I don't like this, and just becomes very inflamed, and as a result, issues start to happen. So the Bifidobacterium longum is immune modulating, again, inhibits pathogens and infections, so really helps to decrease that infection and pathogens from taking over in the gut, reduces inflammation, but not only in the gut, in other areas too, because inflammation goes all over the place. Restores intestinal flora, so it really is one of those good ones for bringing up the bad guys. Bringing up the good guys and bringing down the bad guys, evening out that balance. And carbohydrate digestion and decreases gas and bloating too. So again, when we don't have enough hydrochloric acid in our stomach, that beautiful acid that we really need for digestion in our stomach, the food still passes through into the intestines, but it passes through in more of a whole form as opposed to being broken up. And carbohydrate digestion is another one of those ones. If we don't have a proper digestion going on for those carbohydrates, well, what do? Carbohydrates basically are sugar, and doesn't matter what kind of sugar it is at this point. It's what does sugar do if it just sits in a warm bacteria-filled place? It ferments. So you get that, just like yeast and bubbling up, and that's your gas, and that's your bloating. That is fermentation, basically, that's going on in your gut. So this bacteria strain or probiotic strain will actually help with that as well too. And then the last of the 7 that I have wanted to talk about today is the Streptococcus thermophilus. Oh, I feel so silly saying those things. But anyways, that's the word. I can give a list of them in the comments if you guys are interested. And this one is very good for gut health, but also oral health. So I know people are going, what? The thing is with gut health or any kind of health, it starts here. It starts in your mouth. It starts with the chewing. And if you guys have been, following along with us, that, chewing our food is so very important. It activates the saliva, which carries an enzyme which begins the digestive process. And it just begins there. But you got to think about our oral health too, and think about the fact that whatever goes on in our mouth, if we have bad teeth, if we have a root canal, if we have fillings, if we have an abscess, if we don't have good oral hygiene, all these different things, where does it go? We swallow it down into our system. It goes down and it affects our body everywhere, because this is the entry spot for everything. So if you are having, if you have a root canal, and more times than not, with a root canal, you have underlying or low-grade infection. This is not me speaking. This is like scientific fact. And with that low-grade infection, you obviously have inflammatory process. You have different issues, toxins being built up, and then they shoot down to the rest of the body as well too. So oral health affects our heart big time. It affects our gut, obviously, and it really allows for toxins to be distributed very nicely throughout the rest of our body. So anyways, oral health is so very important, especially from the standpoint of the rest of our health and how it presents towards the future as well too. So keeping really, really good oral health and understanding how important that is, like I said, detriment to, well, you've heard me say it 1,000 times. Oh goodness. Genetics is the loaded gun and environment is the trigger. So genetics, yeah, we can have genetics that are just, really, really bad, but it's the environment. And the environment, what is the environment? Your food, your lifestyle, your mental thoughts, your just everything that makes up who you are as a person and your choices. And this is what will ultimately pull the trigger and present itself as possibly present itself as a disease process later on in life. And you want to inhibit that. You want to slow that down. You want to stop that as much as possible by incorporating really good oral health, as well as everything else. But oral health is one of those big ones as well too. So Streptococcus thermophilus, good for gut health, good for oral health. Indications for that: lactose intolerant. So for people that are lactose intolerant, this is a good one for you as well too. Diarrhea in children, creates favorable environment for lactic acid bacteria. So we really want to incorporate some really good probiotic strains. And again, the tip, if nothing else, if you do take probiotic strains, 2 tips. Make sure that, it doesn't matter that you buy it off the shelf or buy it through on the fridge. You're still getting the same kind of idea. I don't know, you might be paying more money. I stopped buying the fridge ones years ago. You might be paying more money out of the fridge. I don't know. Look at your options anyways. And then second thing that you want to take away from today is the fact that you want to switch them up. So you get the billions and billions and billions of this one, but then you get the billions and billions and billions of this one as well too. So again, if you take probiotics, if you don't take probiotics, take them. This is the perfect time right now to take them. And then go through a bottle. And then, if you don't want to take them for a while, great. Come midsummer maybe, or the beginning of summer, take another bottle. And then take another one in the beginning of fall, and take another one at the beginning of winter. Or better yet, start in the fall and take a couple bottles through the winter till you get to spring. Just because of that immune supporting properties of probiotics that are so essential for our health right now. And if nothing else that you're doing, if you're going to continue to eat chips and Diet Coke and processed foods and alcohol and all these other things, have a steak every day, whatever you do, please take a probiotic. It's going to be a benefit to you over and over and over again. And I would really love if you guys take in more fruits and vegetables, because that's going to actually help with the digestive enzymes, the digestive stomach acids, all these different things. But that's a whole different kind of story. So if you have any kind of issues, please really connect with me, or Dana for that matter. We have like a short little free call that you guys can jump on that can really maybe help determine whether our services can be beneficial to you or not. And seek out some help if you do have some issues from somebody that is a gut expert. There's the gut is so very important, and aside from our liver, which is probably another 2 weeks worth of information we can provide for you with that. It is the place that harbors the beginning of everything, the potential beginning of everything, unless we keep that gut in order, unless we keep that gut happy, nice little happy gut. Then, and how do we do that? By first of all, incorporating digestive enzyme to be able to help with our digestion. And second of all, having a probiotic. And I don't say you have to do it, 365, throughout the whole year, but you have to do it, consistently, whenever. So to help keep those issues at bay, to help keep you on the maintenance road, as opposed to coming into doing a healing protocols. So healing protocols, from my perspective, is something that's going to last anywhere from 6 months to 2 years. And that's just the nature of the beast. That's what happens. You have to, through holistic means, you have to have at least a 6-month protocol in place. And that means incorporating proper food, eating protocols, incorporating, lifestyle changes, trying to get more sleep, trying to get more exercise in your trade, getting more stress relieving deep breathing exercises into your day, all these different things that are going to help you get to where you want to go. That is essentially a healing journey. And then from there, you maintain it with basically the same kind of habits. And, until maybe something comes up that you are not happy with, and then you go back to the healing protocols. So we will be looking forward to having Dana back with our coffee chat, because I don't like talking by myself so much. And I didn't have a coffee, I just had water. So we will talk tomorrow morning at 9. And if you have any questions about probiotics, shoot them out to me. If you want to jump on a little call and figure out if maybe it might be advantageous or helpful to come and see myself and for a consult, we can definitely do that. A lot of it is done online. If you wanted a live blood analysis, then you would have to come in office. But COVID protocols are all in place. We're all set up. We stagger our clients. We have, everything is wiped down, and everything is per government standards. But like I said, we can definitely do something online as well too, if you're just looking for a consult. So it can be done. All right. Have a wonderful Monday, everybody. Have a wonderful week. The sun is shining. Get out and do something fabulous today. Take care.